Okay, there we go. I think I fixed it. I was derping. Yeah, I got it. I was selecting the wrong mic. We're good. Okay. Yes, my bad. Uh, so what am I doing? Okay, we're talking. Oh, I need the super chat open so I can read. I don't want to watch myself though. Okay, what's up? Hi everybody. Say hello. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what's up. How's your new year? Mine was good. Can you tell me how to popular apps work? Deeper explanation. Yeah, if you got like 10 hours, then I can talk about that. Uh, Shorter questions, please, if you can. So yeah, tell me how your New Year's have been, everybody, and then we're gonna talk about my newest upcoming course. That's weird if I watch myself. I wish I could just. Can you put the super chat into like a pop out chat? There we go. That's what I want. I can minimize this and bring this over here. That's better. Learning how to do this. Hi from India. Seems like a lot of people want to learn Flutter. When I did that, I did a poll on my Instagram yesterday or something, and a lot of people wanted to learn Flutter. And unfortunately, I'm going to be staying away from Flutter, at least for the foreseeable future. If anything, I'm going to be switching over to Kotlin kind of halfway through the year. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be like switching 100% over, but it's gonna be a lot of Kotlin for sure. My trip was really fun. Disneyland is very expensive though, and it there's a lot of lineups. Like one day, I bet you I waited in line for 3.5 hours to get onto one ride. It was kind of insane. Like if I was to ever go back, what I would do is I would figure out what statistically what was the least busiest time, and then go then because it's like insane. I have not released any apps to the App Store. To answer your question, I have one technically, but I made it like 2.5 years ago, and I wouldn't even really count that. Shout out my name, Sharad. I hope I pronounced that right. Sharad? Sharad? Probably Sharad. Miami, Florida. Dart, no plans to do anything with that either. Okay. Danger 2. I'm assuming you mean Dagger 2. Coding in Flow has some new Dagger stuff up. He just made some Dagger tutorials. So I would probably check out his channel because his stuff's pretty good. Coding in Flow. I talk to Florian quite often, I would say, and I think a lot of his videos are really good. Like especially his newest playlist. The which one was it? Not the Dagger one. The what the hell was it? It was something about architecture components. It was yeah, room and view model live data recycle view stuff, that kind of stuff. Those are really good. I think that's how I actually ended up starting to talk to him. I saw that I was looking at the documentation, and I was looking for the next thing that I was going to work on. And I always do like a little bit of research to make sure that other people haven't done the things that I want to do to make sure that we don't kind of overlap. And he had a really good video on it, so I decided not to do it. So yeah, he's doing some Dagger 2 stuff, so I would probably take a look at that. I signed up for an SQL course on my website. Yeah, so that's the very first course I pretty much ever made. It's outdated. That's why I'm making this new course. This new one is going to be using the room persistence library, which is the new best practice way to use SQLite on Android. Please make a good video on Elasticsearch how to retrieve users from database as text changes. That is actually a really good one because like all apps, I'm sure you know, when you start typing in like a user's name, usually what happens is it drops down suggestions for what it thinks you're looking for. And Firebase doesn't have anything by default that can do that, so you need Elasticsearch. So that is actually a really good thing. I was hoping to make that one day, but it's not currently on my like upcoming list. Really bad way to do async to do background tasks. Yeah, so I would say in general, async task isn't going to be the best way to do your background tasks because it's not very flexible. Like creating a handler thread or a thread pool is going to be way more flexible. Like you can basically do whatever you want with it. You can mold it to and build it to fit your needs perfectly. Whereas an async task is very like limited. It has kind of a structure that you have to follow, and it has a tendency to leak memory because because there's no like way that it automatically cancels itself. So if it starts running, it will automatically always go to completion. So even if you start running something, you close the app, if that async task is still running, it's going to continue to completion. People are tempted to declare it as inner classes, which then can lead to passing context and views into it, which lead to memory leaks. Yeah, it's just not like in my opinion, you should always use a thread or a handler thread or an executor service, just because they're more flexible in general. I think that would be the answer. I don't know if I'm subbed to PewDiePie. Let's go take a look. I think I might be. PewDiePie. I am subscribed. Firebase or AWS? Well, it's kind of two completely different services. I guess my follow-up question to that would be, what are you using them for? I helped you learn SQL. Great. And I'm curious about your interview, actually. Tell me more about your interview. What kind of a job were you, Nicholas, what kind of a job were you applying for? And like, was it an entry level? Was it intermediate level? Was it like a senior level? And if you can, tell us more about your interview in the chat. That would probably be pretty helpful for people. Okay. Is Google Play remove app? I put direct link. Okay, I don't really know what this says. I tried to read this. Sentence doesn't make sense. How to update the layout of app without uploading a new app to Play Store? You can't, because you're changing the layout. So you're changing the code. You have to update your app on the Play Store. There's a lot of different alternatives to Elasticsearch. Like if you were to go to Google Cloud Console, Elasticsearch is just a search product. There's a lot of different options that do pretty much the same thing. Let me just see if I can find APIs and services. I haven't been in here in a while. APIs and services library, maybe? Yeah. So, like if you look for Elasticsearch, no, this is the wrong spot. I don't want to waste too much time looking, but it's basically, it's a product, and there's tons of different ones. There's tons of different search, like I guess alternatives to Elasticsearch. So you could just, yeah, like I think that Algolia is actually the one that's recommended in the Firebase documentation. Apache Solr. I haven't used any of these, but these are all just kind of the same thing. Like in general, what you'll do is you'll create indexes of your data, and it has all these products that have built-in algorithms to make searching more efficient. That's the general, I guess, thing that Elasticsearch does. So in general, you would just look for a different product that does the same thing. That you and Coding Flow are me reference man, thanks. I don't know what that reference means, but it seems like something good, so you're welcome. Can reverse engineering give you all app source code? If yes, how to protect it? So you can, yeah, so you can get the APK, and you can, I'm not sure what the word is, decompile it. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but you can decompile it and actually open it in Android Studio. But there are things that you can do to protect the code, basically to encrypt it. Let me just Google it. So prevent, so let's go Android, prevent APK decompile is probably what you'd want to search. So prevent APK from decompiling. But you can manage to obfuscate the code to make it harder for anyone to reverse engineer it. Use tools like ProGuard to obfuscate the code, which makes it hard to reverse engineering the Android APK. So yeah, basically what you would want to download something like ProGuard or use something like ProGuard. I've never done it personally, but this is what you would do, and it makes the code like really. It doesn't encrypt it, I guess technically, but it makes it really hard to read and figure out what's actually happening. So for someone to go through it, it just looks like it's like reading Chinese kind of thing, I guess. Whereas you could probably figure it out if you spent enough time, but it makes it very difficult to decompile it. I'm from Canada. Yeah, use an obfuscator. So thanks, Aaron Zola, for answering the question. Using triggers for duplication versus using duplication for duplication. I don't know what that means. Is there something called an application lifecycle? If yes, what are the callback methods? Yes, so I think what you mean is there something that runs at the, is there an application level lifecycle? I guess the answer is yes. If you want to access those methods, you can create I was just actually doing this in my memory leaks example. I'm building an example for YouTube. So conveniently I have this open. You can extend a class by application, and this gives you access to application lifecycle methods. So as you can see here, I have the onCreate method, which is going to be called as soon as the application is created. And there's a bunch of other methods. If I press Control O, you can see there's a whole bunch in here. So hopefully that answers your question. SQLite versus Realm. I've never used Realm, so I don't know. How long did it take me to arrive? I actually wanted to talk about my newest course. So I'm gonna stop with the questions for a sec, and we're gonna go into that. So what I want to build for the new course, which is the SQLite course, this is gonna be a free one for YouTube. It's going to be, as I said earlier, it's gonna be replacing the old SQLite course because it's outdated now. I made that, I think, in 2017, I think, like summer 2017, and things have changed a lot because now they're using they recommend using the room persistence library to do database transactions with SQLite. So things have changed a lot, pretty drastically. So I wanted to make sure I made a new course. It's going to be a free one. I think I already mentioned that. And yeah, so let's talk about what it's going to be. It's going to be targeting beginners. So I'm going to be going kind of really slow, talking about basic kind of object stuff. There's going to be a video on installing Android Studio, installing Java, all that stuff. So if you've taken my SQLite course on my website, it's going to be kind of replacing that one. So here I have the app open, and I have a couple, it's a note keeping app, by the way. I have a couple notes here. The first one, so if I click on the first one, it takes me to a screen where I can edit this. This is the first note. Yeah. So I'm just making a change right now to show you that I can save the changes. So I went back and I'm going to open it again. There you can see the changes were saved. Likewise for the second note, same kind of thing. So something cool about this too is to edit the note, what I do is I double click on this on the screen, and then you can see the UI changes. So I can change the title up here, or I can change the content of the note down here. And I can either click that check mark, so like click this check mark right here to save it, or I can press the back button and it will automatically save. So that should be automatically saved. I'm going back, and you can see the title is changed, the content is changed, whoops, all that stuff. So, and I can create a new note. By the way, I probably went a little fast there. I clicked the floating action button right there. Now if I enter a title, third note, this is the third note. And I can save it, go back. There you can see the third note is inserted, and I can also delete notes by swiping. So I guess I could rerun the app and show you that that note was deleted. So you're going to get all of the basic database transactions, inserts, updates, deletes, and then of course retrieving, because you can see I'm able to retrieve the list of notes. So that's going to be the app. We're going to be doing kind of, yeah, like I said, like beginner level stuff. We got a little bit about async tasks, which would be kind of more advanced to intermediate, I guess. Room persistence library. I'm going to show you how to build a class, an edit text, like how to build how to build a custom edit text class that draws lines on the screen like this. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, just kind of basic like recycler view stuff, basic activity stuff, intents, bundles, beginner stuff. It's a beginner course. So that is the app. Now let's see what you guys are saying about it. I'll scroll to the bottom. Does my girlfriend use Android or iOS? We both were iOS people. Like for as long as I can remember, I had an iPhone. Actually, probably not my like very first phones, which was, oh, this is fun actually. Like, I still got like my very first phones ever. I'll grab them one sec. So actually my very first phone was a Razr. I don't know if any of you remember. It was like the most badass phone you could get. I think I was 16, so that was 2006. I think is when it came out. And for those of you who don't know what it is, I guess I can Google it. Let's see. It was a Motorola Razr. If you had one of these, you were the coolest kid in school. These things right here. So hopefully you can see them over here. It was a flip phone, and it had kind of like a very shitty camera, and yeah, that was the first phone I ever got. And then after that, nobody's behind me, just me here. Then I think this one was my second phone, which is a BlackBerry. It's got, you know, that little keyboard on there, and I actually really like this phone. But BlackBerry like went out of business shortly after that, so there's that. And then this phone I liked probably the most out of everything. It's like a little Nokia slider phone. I don't know why I like this better, but it was just, I don't know. I just liked the little slider. It's small, it's cool. And then after that, I pretty much always had iPhones. And oh yeah, and then to answer your question. So we pretty much always had iPhones after that. After this Nokia, which is what I had when I was, I think, 18, I had iPhones up until, I guess, I still actually had an iPhone probably my first year that I started doing Android development. And then I decided, oh, well, I'm making Android apps. I should probably get an Android phone. And so then I bought an Android phone. So I've only had Android phones for maybe 2 years, and because they used to be worse. Like the hardware wasn't as good as in iPhones. iPhones were the best, but now that's definitely not the case. And so Jess, who's my fiance, she also has an Android phone now, but she used to have iPhones. See my previous question. Okay, let me search your name. Oh, this location manager versus Google Play services. Which is best to get location updates? So Google, I'm assuming what you mean then is location manager versus Google Maps SDK. Depends on what you're doing, I guess. I don't even know that it's different actually. Now that I think about it, let me search location manager. Let's search location manager Android. Class of access system location services. Access find location. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I do anything with geolocating or anything, I always use Google Maps SDK. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I've ever used this. If it's different than the Google Maps SDK, I always use Google Maps SDK. I guess so. I don't have an answer for you. Which age did I start to program? I started. I I never really started to program until like my last semester of school, which was I was 25. So it was I think February, no, February 2015, I think, or 2016. So that wasn't that long ago. Other than that, um, I took like a Java class, but I don't even know that I would count that because I feel like the amount that I learned in that class, I learned in like 2 weeks of like studying on my own. So I don't even know if I would count that. What are your future plans for the beard? I don't know where I left off. When you started coding, didn't answer it. Anyone help me fix my program? I got stuck at getting coordinates. Did you watch my Google Maps 2018 course? Because I go through all that stuff in detail. Vertical view pager like TikTok. TikTok, is that an app? Let's take a look. TikTok Android. I'm just looking at this here, and you guys can see. Vertical recycler view. Or vertical view pager. I don't see nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go back up to the top here and figure out where I left off. Are there a lot of people watching this, by the way? I haven't looked in a while. Not PewDiePie. We got 37. Holy, why do you guys watch me? Do you think I'm entertaining? Do you think I'm entertaining, or do you watch me for knowledge? That's my question. Okay, let's figure out what happened up here. I don't know what that means. Question about getting the coordinate from other activity. Deshu? Can you be more specific? Question about getting the coordinate from other activity. Do you mean GPS coordinates? If that's the case, you should probably watch my Google Maps 2019 course because I save GPS coordinates in Firestore and you can access them from any activity. Application lifecycle. How long did it take me to arrive at my level of Android dev knowledge that you have now? So I think, like I said just a few minutes ago, I just kind of started programming really. When I was I think it was February 2015. I think it was whenever I made my first video, so I can actually look at my YouTube. Let's take a look. By the way, I'm curious, how many of you are following me on Instagram? Answer in the chat because I'm starting to like Instagram. I didn't really used to like it, but making stories is super easy. It's really easy to get like a lot of information out to my audience really quickly and do polls and things like that. So I'm curious who is following me on there. All right, let's see where my first video is. There's probably an easier way than scrolling down like I'm doing, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure though, like, so when I made this, so it was like, it says 2 years ago, but it's probably actually like 2.5 or something because I think it rounds down. So let's see here. The date was March 25th. Yeah, so so I was wrong. So actually it was probably more like February 2016, not February 2015. So yeah, that was pretty much when I like really started programming, I would say. Kubernetes, I don't know what that is. OpenCV, probably not. I think like when I tried to make, or when I did make the stories feature for Instagram, I was kind of playing around with OpenCV, but it's very niche. And what I'm going to be focusing on moving forward is like popular Android topics that like everybody needs to learn. Also, I'll be building like full length courses on things like REST API integrations, SQLite, obviously, building caches. Um, what else? I'm just looking at my list over here. Architecture, different architectures. Um, yeah, just like stuff that everybody needs to know, and maybe some interview stuff like interview questions, things that I've seen interviewers ask. That's why Nicholas, I think your name was Nicholas Cuijo. I'm gonna butcher your last name, so I'm gonna try and say it. I'm interested to know what they asked you specifically in your interview because uh, I want to do some interview stuff later on because typically now when you do an interview, a lot of companies seem to be they'll give you a project and they'll give you like 2 days to complete it or something, and then they'll send you home to do it. And so that could be really cool for my YouTube channel. I could get these interview projects, do them, and then post them on YouTube. So that's like a real interview basically is what I'd be going through. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm going to be doing moving forward. Android Studio Live TC. Don't know what that is. Can you make tutorials? Okay, all capitals. Can you make tutorials about making beautiful UI and UX for app? Can you make series about this? Probably not, because I'm not very good at doing UI and UX stuff. Just to put it bluntly, I'm just not very good. So I don't know if it would take me quite a while to like become proficient enough to show you anything, probably. So probably not would be my answer. So machine learning with Android. What I do want to do actually is probably not anything with machine learning, but I want to use, okay, I guess it is technically with machine learning. I want to use Firebase's machine learning toolkit. It looks really cool. I haven't had a chance to play around with it a lot. I have my list over here that I need to complete, but then after that, I want to do something probably with the machine learning toolkit. And let me see here. Another thing I thought was really cool, because I just went to Disneyland, as some of you know. Disneyland has a really cool app. Like it's like a really excellent app. So I'll just kind of paint the picture for you here. This is the Disneyland app open. When you're walking around Disneyland, there's guys with cameras that work for Disneyland, and they give you so they say, hey, do you want me to take your picture? You say yes or no. You go take your picture, and what they do is inside the camera, there's like this little I guess credit card looking thing, and when they take the picture, they give you the credit card, and I think I threw mine out, but they give you this credit card and you can scan it with the app. So right here you can see show photo pass, or no, that's show photo passcode. Somewhere in here, oh, I just disconnected my thing. Somewhere in the app is, I can't remember. There's a thing that you can scan this code and then you automatically get all of the pictures that these people take using this card. So like I thought that was so cool. Like that's such an easy way to get high quality pictures. And then like you can see down here, they're added to my phone, and then I can just kind of like go through them. They're not loading very fast, but anyway, they're there, and then they're in the app, and you can just download them. So I just thought that was so cool. And then the map they have, like the GPS locating. You can see if any of you took my Google Maps 2019 course, you know that these are clusters. These are cluster markers on here. So they're using that kind of stuff. It's just a really great app. Like it works really well. And anyway, what I was going to say was the code. So that little code that you scan is what I kind of want to try and build a course with. So maybe have some kind of a code that you scan, and then Firebase looks at it and analyzes it and says, okay, this is, this type of code, do this thing, or this is this type of code, do this thing. Something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Not nothing's written in stone yet, but like something like that I think would be really cool. Future of Android? I don't know. I think Android is going to continue to grow. Uh, like if you look at, I guess, what it was 10 years ago compared, or no, not even, maybe like 5 to 8 years ago compared to Apple. Apple was definitely the superior product. It's definitely not the case now. There's more and more things you can do with Android. I think it's only going to grow. Plans for 2019. So my plan, I have it written on this board. My plan for 2019 is to focus on my website. So making like high quality courses for my website. I'm probably, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to make any, but I'm probably not going to make hardly any Pluralsight courses. If that, I'm going to be focusing on my website. What I'm probably going to do is I'll build a free course, put it on YouTube, and then I'll build a paid course, put that on my website, then free course, YouTube, paid course. So it's going to just kind of rotate back and forth like that. Probably. That's what I'm going to do anyway. And yeah, I want to, as you guys have probably seen, I'm starting to write blog posts now. I never really wrote like full length blog posts or anything like that. So starting to do that. Hopefully it'll be like one blog post a week on some topic, and then also a video on that blog post. So if you were to go to my channel and go to the top, and you see kind of the stuff that I've been doing, kind of starting with the view model one. I made a blog post on the view model view model, then I made a video on it. Then I made a blog post on bound services on Android. I made a video on it. And that's kind of the trend that I hope to do. My goal is to do one a week, but I don't know if that will work out. We'll see how it goes. But that's kind of the goal. It'll be course for my website or YouTube, one a month at least, and then I'll do a blog post hopefully once a week. Probably won't, but I'm gonna try for once a week, and then a video on that blog post. That is the goal, the structure goal for 2019. Oh, and also if you guys are Patreons or you're becoming members on my website, you know that I have a Discord channel too. So I'm trying to build up this Discord channel. Got quite a few members in here now. We kind of just go in here and we talk about whatever. Talk about your problems. I got a bunch of people in here. I'm in here every day, so we answer questions. There's different channels, like if you have project suggestions, tutorial suggestions, different channels here. So if you want to join the Discord channel, all you got to do is become a Patreon or become a member on my website. And and I didn't do it to make money, just so you know. The Discord channel, I added a amount that you need to pay because I want it to be a focused group. I don't want just kind of anybody to come in. Not that I mind anybody coming in, just I want it to be like a focused group. I want, if you're going to come into the Discord channel, I want to make sure that you're serious about development and developing your skills, helping each other. And so I just kind of put like that little money barrier there just to kind of weed out the people who aren't serious. So that's the explanation for that. Okay. So the interview for an intermediate level dev, it was 1 hour on native Android trivia, if you will, and 1 hour of Java algorithms. That sounds terrible. That sounds really, really terrible. An hour of like just random questions and then an hour of algorithms. That would be horrible. I really wish that like companies, because I've applied for a few companies just to see what the interview process was like. And a few were like, what they would do is, as I explained earlier, is they'd give you a project and then send you home, or not send you home, but they'd give it to you online, and then you do the project and then submit the project on GitHub or wherever, and then you'd go through the project with them and they'd ask questions about it. Why'd I do this? Why'd I do that? How you solve this? How you solve that? That kind of stuff. I think that's like a much better way to interview personally. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be suspicious of the company if they're interviewing like that, because I don't think that's a very effective way to interview. Like, you're testing someone's memory, but realistically, when you're programming, you're constantly just looking up stuff and looking up old projects. I don't know. I don't think that's a realistic way to interview, but that's just me. Elasticsearch engineer certification. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Elasticsearch is a great product. I don't know what kind of knowledge you'd gain from that. So yeah, I really don't have anything to say about that. Future plans for the beard. I'm gonna shave it, I think. I was just talking to Jess about this yesterday. It looks good on camera. Like, you guys probably think it looks nice, but up close it's actually kind of like, because I have a lot of like patches. Like, some spots just don't grow. Like, you can see, whoops, right here, like this spot I just have no hair, and there's a lot of like little spots like that, and it's like just, it looks good from far away or like on camera, because it, like, the hair is so long that it just kind of fills in the gaps. But I think what I'll do is I'm going to shave it a bit, kind of like trim it, and then see how it looks. If it looks okay, then I'll keep it. But if it doesn't, then probably shave it off. We'll see. YouTube update the app without uploading new versions of the Play Store. How do they do it? I don't know. Send an email to YouTube. I'm not sure. I think, oh, well, I guess it depends on, yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you mean by update, I guess, is my question. Because, like, Firebase has an A/B testing feature, for example, where you can send like small updates or changes to your app, which go live immediately. So maybe something like that, I guess. Firebase doesn't have much about search functionality, and there is just one only tutorial. That's it would be really helpful with such kind of content. Yes, I think this is a big shortcoming of Firebase, but I think they do it on purpose, because if Firebase was to solve all of these search problems, a lot of companies who make these search products would stop making money overnight, which is obviously not good. So I think that's why Firebase hasn't like released like a solution to this, but maybe they will in the future. Because yeah, you basically need to use something like Elasticsearch or some kind of indexing tool, because the search functionality just isn't good enough. Yeah. Already answered that. Which age? Already did that. Your way of teaching is damn good. Why didn't you become an instructor at Udemy? Okay. I actually don't like Udemy, and I think I mentioned this in my last live stream. I mentioned it at some point, and I told people that I was going to tell the story. Maybe it was a YouTube comment. I don't remember. So Udemy I don't like Udemy. I have my Google Maps course on there just to, I guess, raise awareness. It's free, but Udemy is not, their model is really screwed up. Like, for example, if they have nothing that protects authors from like having their content pirated. Like, for example, someone could go on YouTube, download all of my content, and then just upload it to Udemy, and they have nothing that like looks for if that's actually me who's uploading that content. And the YouTube channel, let me just open it. The YouTube channel Sent Dex. He actually uploaded a video on why he doesn't like Udemy, and he describes it really well. So I'll search for his video. Udemy. But so why Udemy is bad. So go and watch that video. You probably can't see it here. Why Udemy is bad, Sent Dex. So what he had happen to him was one of his courses was downloaded either from his website or from YouTube. I can't remember which one. And somebody uploaded it to Udemy and started making money on it. And he emailed Udemy and said, "Hey, this is my course. Like, what are you gonna do about it?" Basically, and Udemy was like, "Oh, I can't remember if they actually even took it down. But watch the video. He'll talk about it. But basically, at the end of the day, he said, what are you doing to police these kind of things? And they said essentially nothing. And they said that if you want your content to not be pirated, you have to, because there's no way that he would ever find it, right? Unless he buys the course and checks if it's his content. Udemy said, we're not going to do anything. You have to go out, buy the course, then like send us a ticket and like do all these things, and then we'll maybe remove the course. It was like, it's like, what? You're the platform that is publishing these courses. You should be making sure that they're authentic, and like that's just not a good way to do business. And then on top of that, their pricing model is really screwed up for authors. Like they can take up to 50% of the course, what the sale price is, and they determine what it is. So like I could publish a course for, I don't know, just to throw out a number, it could be $50. They could sell it for like basically whatever they want. Like I think it's like, I can't remember the percentage, but it's something like really small, like 10% of what that I published it for. So they have the option to basically do what they want with the pricing, and then they still take 50% of whatever that is. So it's like, it's not good for authors. I wouldn't recommend anybody like becoming a Udemy author just because I don't like the company. The way they do business seems slimy, and yeah, in general, that's what I think of Udemy. I lost it. Where was I? Something about, where's the Udemy question? Udemy. Hi, Mitch. What's up? Hi, Ayush. You probably said that a long time ago, but hello. Course title suggestion, Google Keep clone. Okay. Don't know. Happy New Year. Oscar, Happy New Year. The Sliver. I don't think I ever heard of that phone. Razer was a cool phone though. Like for its time, it was really cool. Like it looked really nice and it was really cool. Hello from Indonesia. Who's behind you? Nobody. Ben, there's nobody behind me. Nokia the Legend. Yes. Okay, so I think I'm finally catching up on the comments here. You retrieve data from SQLite as cursor adapter or alt just array adapter and put them in recycle or list. I'm not sure what the question is there. When you started coding, I think I answered that already. Enter development and WordPress or web development at the same time possible. I'm not sure what the question is there. Enter development and WordPress or web development at the same time possible. Not sure what the question is there. See my previous question. I think I did answer that. I think I answered that. Didn't answer that. Facebook Lite. Don't know what that is. When Kotlin? Kotlin. I think probably mid 2019. I'm gonna start doing like. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go like all in like everything Kotlin or mostly Kotlin or what, but definitely by mid 2019 you should see a lot more Kotlin. I guess that is what I would answer. I kind of want to start doing it right now, but I did a poll today on my Instagram and it doesn't sound like a lot of people want it yet. Cause I think Kotlin is better and it will definitely replace Java completely. Oh yeah. So 82 people said no and 41 said yes. So it's quite a few people said no. More people said no than yes. So I'm not really ready to start going all in on Kotlin yet, but yeah, soon I guess. You're subbed to PewDiePie and you don't know about TikTok. I'm very disappointed. I don't really watch like a lot of YouTube videos. I'm subbed to him, but I really don't. The thing I mostly watch is this guy named Jordan Peterson. So like I'll search him, Jordan Peterson. I watch a lot of his videos. I just think I think it's Jordan B. Peterson. That's not the right one. Oh, I'm not even subscribed to him. Oh, so I'm not even actually subscribed to him, but I watched a lot of his videos. That's funny. Oh, I didn't even realize that. But okay, so that guy, I watched a lot of his videos. Dan Locke. where was it? Oh, I minimized it so you can't see, but a guy named Dan Locke, let me go to his channel here. I watch his videos, not like a lot, but he has a lot of stuff about like copywriting and things like that. And I was always really bad at copywriting and blog posting and things like that. So was watching his videos. They're pretty helpful. But that's most of the stuff I watch on YouTube. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I used to watch a lot of Simple Programmer, like John Sonmez too, but he's kind of into the self-help realm now. So I don't watch a lot of his videos because he's kind of straight away from programming stuff. But I watch some of his videos still. Okay. Is there a book that you would recommend to learn? I've never owned a programming book, and other than the ones they were required, because I took like one Java class in school, and they required me to buy a book, and I pretty much didn't even open it. So I don't think books are a very good way to learn programming. I think the best way is to just try and build things, and like Google is the biggest and the best book you could ever want. It's so my recommendation is always like watch YouTube videos and Google stuff. That's what I think you should do. Choice is both. I don't know both of what. We need knowledge. Oh, right, because I asked you, why do you watch me, entertainment or knowledge? You're saying both. This guy's saying we need knowledge. Okay. For knowledge, of course. I study Instagram clone. Okay. Yes, I have a Discord server. If you join my website, so if I bring my website over here, okay, I'm gonna bring this window. If you go to if you create an account on my website and you become a member, if you go to your profile, so if you go up here and go to your profile, I think you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah. There'll be a button in your profile that says join Discord when you become a member. So that's how you can get on the Discord channel, or you can become a Patreon. So if you go to my Patreon, oops, I didn't want to show the money, but I accidentally did. Well, you've seen it now, so here you go. So if you become a Patreon on here, you'll get access to the Discord channel. So it'll send you an email when you become a Patreon, and then you can get access to the Discord channel. But yeah, and once again, I didn't really add, because it only costs $5 to become a Patreon, and then you can get access to the Discord channel. I just added that pretty much to filter out people who weren't serious, because I want the Discord channel to be a place where people help each other and they're serious about their projects and that kind of stuff. So yeah. You told me that you would make a chat course. Yeah, I know. I have the code for it actually. So if you go to my GitHub, let's see, GitHub, I have all the code made for it. I just didn't end up making the course. So Firestore chat app, that's the one that I was. Oh, can you see that? You can see that now. So if you go to my GitHub, I made the app and everything. I just never ended up making the course. So Firestore chat app is what you're going to be looking for. I guess I just got bored of it and I didn't want to make the course. I don't really have like a good excuse. I just got bored and I didn't make it. But yeah, so check that code out if you want to see that. Follow you on Instagram. I'm following you. I think you know. Yes. When I use SQLite to retrieve data in Recycle View, I have to restart the app to see the result in Recycle. If you're adding the list items to your array list, I'm assuming it's going to be, make sure to call notify dataset changed on your adapter, and that will then kind of refresh the list so you can see that new stuff. Okay. No courses on face detection in real-time augmented reality on YouTube anymore. Yes. So yes, that's definitely face detection is something that I wanted to do something with, because you can do it with Firebase's machine learning toolkit. So if you've been watching this live stream for a bit, earlier I talked about how I wanted to do something with the machine learning toolkit, and that's one of the things that I wanted to do with the machine learning toolkit is face detection. So you might be seeing something like that in the future. I don't know about adding face filters and augmented reality, maybe, but definitely face detection is something high on my list that I want to do. Why do I use Windows instead of a Mac? So Macs are really good. I had a Mac. I bought a Mac in I think it was 2008, and that thing it was a really great computer. It was like one of the cheap ones, but you know, a cheap Mac is still very expensive. Um, but in general, I think Macs are really good computers. It's just I think they're overpriced. Like what I paid for my computer, I got way better specs than what I would have got from a Mac. And I think the Macs are definitely more reliable, and they probably will last longer, probably. But I just think they're overpriced in general, so that's why I have a PC. Oh, I lost it. I lost the spot. Um, why? Yeah. So why? Well, there are many face detection AR tutorials. AWS or DigitalOcean. I use both. So I use DigitalOcean to host, um, because when I started using DigitalOcean, they didn't have file saving things. They didn't have a way for you to save files, so I had to use AWS or some other service. But DigitalOcean I use for hosting. I think DigitalOcean is awesome. They're an awesome company. I have pretty much nothing but good things to say about DigitalOcean. Yeah, and then I use AWS to save the files on my server. So like all the files that you see served on codingwithmitch.com, all the images, everything that's saved on AWS. Again, nothing bad to say about AWS. Yeah, I don't know. I've only used DigitalOcean for hosting, so I don't know about the other things that it offers. So I can't really give you a good answer on that. I probably won't do a WhatsApp clone. I mean maybe, I don't know. I have no plans right now anyway. I get asked that a lot though, like quite often. So possibly. Also had that, yeah, so code challenge, that's the way to do it. Hey, I got this message, data system user 0 personal list.xml, no such file or directory. I don't know. Are you trying to save something somewhere that doesn't exist? That's what I would think. Not really sure. Machine learning, please. I love Mitch with this course. Love you too, man. I think the competition will really make Android thrive due to all the flagships trying to outdo each other. Yeah, well, yeah, that's another. So earlier we were talking about the future of Android and kind of how they've been progressing compared to Apple, for example. I think my personal opinion, this is just speculation, but it's my personal opinion. I think that Android will definitely surpass Apple, like in terms. I mean, they already do. Like if you look at the devices that you can buy for the price, Android is better there because they're just cheaper and you get in the same price. Like if any of you know what a OnePlus is, OnePlus makes really great phones. Like I have a OnePlus 5. Before that, I had a OnePlus 2. I bought it for like $800 Canadian, which is like $600. It was like $600 or $700 US, and it came with 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gig memory. If I was to buy an iPhone with those same specs, it would have been like $1,600. It's like twice the price. It's insane. And yes, Apple has a better camera than my phone for sure, but there are other Android phones that have better cameras. So I think that, and I agree with you, Nicholas, in that I'm assuming you're saying that the competition will drive the quality higher because all of these companies are competing for market share. They're gonna have to innovate, and eventually they're gonna surpass Apple. I think, my opinion, but yeah. Is it possible to run Android Studio smoothly on 4 gigs of RAM? Probably not. Android Studio is like so demanding. I have like this old laptop, and I basically can't even run it. It takes like 15 minutes to like start up. My new computer has 32 gigs of RAM, and I give Android Studio 16 to run. It might even be more. I might have given it more, and it runs like really good. But like that's insane. I have to give it that much RAM. So on 4 gigs, probably not. I think you would really struggle. It's a very demanding application. I don't know what Fuchsia OS is. Oh, I lost the position again. There we go. All right. Great beard. Thanks. I think I'm finally starting to catch up on the comments here. I heat Android Studio and heat my life. I hope that Android dev one day. I think you probably meant to say hate, not heat. Yeah, my PC is 16 gigs RAM, i7. That's so my old computer that I was just talking about. It has 16 gigs of RAM and it has an i7, and it's still quite laggy. But I didn't really take care of the computer too, so it's not in the best shape. But yeah, my new computer has 32 gigs of RAM. It also has an i7 8th gen, and it runs it really well. Like I'll just show you. Like I'll open something. Whoops, open. I don't know. I'll just open this. Show you how fast it is. So like on my other computer, that would have taken a long time. It's still, Gradle's still doing its thing, but like it opened instantly. It's not like laggy. It's still doing its thing. But there, okay, so it's done. Gradle's done syncing, all that stuff. And that didn't take very long. But that's with 32 gigs of RAM, and I think I'm dedicating like 16 to just Android Studio. So yeah. Why did I not get notified of live video? I don't know. Maybe you have to like allow notifications or something. Like I don't know. I don't know like a lot about YouTube and like how it works and stuff. I just make videos. I think maybe there's like there's like a bell somewhere on my channel or something that you can click. I don't think I probably can't see it because it's my channel. I'll go to somebody else's. Yeah, so there. See, there's a bell here. I think maybe you click that. I don't know. That would be my guess. Not really sure. Whoops. You're a really good teacher when it comes to Android. You should not do much free courses, rather focus on paid, but quality content on codingwithmitch.com or other popular platform. Thank you for your compliment, first of all. I put a lot of time and effort into my courses, and I love doing it, so thank you. And yeah, so if you were here maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago, I don't know how long I've been live streaming, I was talking about kind of my plans for 2019, and wow, I've been on here for an hour. Holy shit. Okay, I need to stop this soon. But anyway, yeah, so my plans for 2019 were I'm going to alternate between free course on YouTube to paid course on my website, and that's what I'm going to be focusing on. I probably won't make any Pluralsight courses. We'll see. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Right now, there's no plans to, but possibly. But that's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be focusing on building up a membership on my website of people and creating high quality courses for there and high quality courses for YouTube. Yeah, so that's kind of going to be my plan. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will be able to focus. The reason I want to do this and not do Pluralsight courses is because I want to build what I want to build, and I want to look at what you guys are saying, what you guys want, and I want to just build it. Whereas because if I'm working for another platform and I'm making courses for another platform, I can't just build whatever I want. I have to do things a certain way, and I have to build what they want. So I would very, very much prefer the freedom to build what I want, what you guys want, and the things that are the most interesting. So that's what I'm going to be kind of aiming for this year. So anybody who becomes a member on my website, thank you very much ahead of time, because that's essentially going to be all of my income. It's going to be from the website. So thank you everybody who's going to be subscribing or becoming a member. Thanks if you're already a member. I really appreciate it, because you're helping me get the freedom to be able to build the courses that I want to build. So thank you. Oh, I lost it. RX Java or RX Android. Yes, so that is, I don't have it on my list, but that's gonna be, so if you look at my website, I want to do, if you look at kind of the side, whoops, the side over here coming soon. You have the music streaming app, which I just published. You have SQLite for Beginners 2019, which with the room persistence library, which is what I'm developing that right now. I just did a demo earlier, which is what this live stream was originally about. And then I'm going to be doing a blogging app with a REST API. Also, I'm going to be using MVVM in this. And I originally planned to do an e-commerce app with MVVM, but I'm doing MVVM with the blogging app. So what I might do is something with RX Java or RX Android after that. So you're going to be seeing RX Android soon for sure. Basically, it's going to be SQLite course, REST API, and then possibly the RX Android after that. Is it possible to do Android development and web development in parallel? Yeah, well, I don't see why not. I think web development, you need to know things about web development if you're going to be a really effective, I'm just cracking my neck. If you're going to be a really effective Android developer, I think, because the app, like, you can't just have a standalone app in almost any case. You're going to have to be communicating with an API, whether that's a REST API or something else, which is going to be communicating with a website essentially, or a server. So having that web development knowledge is going to be really, really helpful to you. If you only know Android and you know nothing else, I don't think it, I think it, you'd be able to get a job, I'm sure, but it would be difficult. It's going to be, you'll be like exponentially a better developer if you have even like a little bit of knowledge about web development and APIs and things like that. So definitely, and yeah, you can you can definitely learn them at the same time. Like, web development in comparison to Android development, I think takes a fraction of the time to learn. Like, I guess I only have myself as an example, but I bet you it took me 10% of the time, maybe 20% of the time, to be like proficient at web development as compared to proficient at Android development. So it doesn't take a lot of time. So that would be my recommendation, is definitely it's worth taking a look at. When I'm creating personal projects, I code in Java. I almost never use Kotlin. I don't have like a strong Kotlin knowledge yet. I kind of just know it enough to get by. But when I start coding all of my courses in Kotlin, obviously my skills will increase very rapidly. Android Studio sucks. Every time I run the interview after 10 minutes to get started, it still hangs. I don't like, well, the emulators are better now, like, but also I have 32 gigs of RAM, so I don't know if I can really speak to that. But yeah, so the emulators are generally slow. What I would recommend doing is using Visor. So that's what I use, this application right here. You can download it, just type Visor in Google and you'll be able to download it. Or you can, it's a Google Chrome extension, so you can get it as an extension, and that just mirrors your device's screen on the computer. So like, this is my actual phone that's plugged in right here. This is my phone that I use for personal use, and it's being mirrored on Visor. So use Visor because it's very fast. There's like no wait time at all. So that's what I would recommend. Yes, Kotlin will be, I've said this a few times, but obviously you just got into the chat. I'm going to be doing Kotlin probably. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going all in on Kotlin or doing part Kotlin or what, but it'll be kind of probably mid 2019, I think. Okay. Good tips to become an Android developer. Code a lot. Do you know Flutter? Yes. I probably won't make videos on it. There's a lot of people who are already kind of like really committing to Flutter videos on YouTube. So if it becomes like the most popular thing, then I'll do it. But if not, I'm going to be kind of staying with Java and Kotlin. Dark IDE. I don't know. I don't like it. I like white. I like the white IDE. For my subline text, I use the dark. I think by default it is dark though. But for subline text, I use the dark one. That's for what I use for web development. But for Android, I like the white. And yeah, it's I'm screwing up the environment, but that's the way it goes. Gotta have my white IDE. Object box for the data persistence instead of SQLite. I've never used object box. How do we create an Uber clone? You should watch, if you want to create an Uber clone, you should watch my Google Maps 2019 course, because that like actively tracks GPS coordinates of users in a chat room. So it's gonna be similar. What you would have is you would just have like a group of drivers that you'd be actively tracking the GPS coordinates of, and you'd have like a person who would be looking for those drivers. So it would be something similar to that. So watch my Google Maps 2018 course. Advanced. Earlier I said that I was going to be doing the SQLite course, then the REST API, and then maybe RX Android. But what I'm going to be doing is SQLite course, REST API, and then building a database cache. So I'm probably going to include that into the REST API course actually. So, or do it afterwards. I'll build the REST API course, and then after that, I'll do a course on building a database cache with a REST API. So that's going to be using SQLite. Make a video on advanced use of SQLite, how to design use of multiple tables. Maybe. That might be included in the database cache course, because what I'll do is I'll do the REST API, and then after that I'll do a database caching course. So there's a lot of time there, because it doesn't take long to just build a cache. So maybe I'll include other things like multiple tables and stuff like that. What do you think about Flutter? I don't know enough about it to give you a good answer. List down your projects that you have done. Go to my GitHub page and take a look. Those are pretty much all the projects that I've done. Just joined the stream. Hello Neo C. How about NetBeans? I actually used NetBeans. That was the first IDE I used for web development, was NetBeans. I like it, but it looks kind of like ghetto. I don't know if they've changed it recently. Let me take a look. Because I know that my first web development IDE I used was NetBeans, and that was probably 2 years ago. And I just remember it looked like, I don't know, it looked old, I guess is the way to put it. I don't know if there's, I bet you actually if we go to Google Images, yeah, like it just looks old and ugly. That's not it. Anyway, you can kind of see it there. It's ugly. Sublime Text is very nice. For those of you got to pay for it. Like Sublime Text isn't free, but it looks nice. It works really well. It's very fast, and yeah, Sublime Text. That's the IDE you want to use for web development. When is Coding with Mitch going public so I can buy stocks? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no plans for that. I need to. First of all, I need to sell enough subscriptions so that I can make a living, because that's kind of the first goal before we go public here. Hi, love from India. Hi, love from Canada. Have you ever done coding on a Raspberry Pi? No, I've done quite a bit of stuff with an Arduino, which is, so an Raspberry Pi is essentially like it's like a mini computer. It's very similar to an actual computer, whereas an Arduino is just like a microcontroller. So they're quite different, I guess. So I don't really have a lot of anything to say about the Raspberry Pi, but I'm assuming it can't be like that much different, I guess. Can I make Google Play app in billing service? Yes, I want to do something with billing. So it'll be SQLite. That'll be my next course. REST API. After that with MVVM. Then it's going to be the database cache. Then RX Android. And then probably something with billing. So it'll be like Braintree payments or Stripe or something. I'll do something with like in-app billing where you can process payments for sure. Those are my plans for right now. Were you aware that Apple buys Samsung's touchscreens, battery, and some of their hardware to use it? Yeah, I knew that actually. I don't know how much, but I knew that they did buy some parts. Something I've seen in job descriptions: ability for app to adapt to different screen sizes and tablets. Yeah, so you need to build. You can actually build your apps to have different layouts dependent on screen size. There's like small, medium, large, and extra large, I think. Or maybe there's only 3. I don't remember. But there's you're supposed to define different layouts for different screen sizes. And so then your app will adapt to those different screen sizes. How can I send notification for a specific user in Firebase? You should watch my Firebase cloud messaging course on Pluralsight. I will give you the link. Go to pluralsight.com. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. And Firebase on Android. Cloud messaging, cloud functions, and Crashlytics. This is a very good course that I made. You should go here and check this out. If you want a free membership, a free 30-day membership on Pluralsight, message me on Instagram, and I'll give you a 30-day trial thing. So there's a link. I put that into the chat. Goodbye, Oscar. Thanks for watching my stream. I've been streaming for way too long. I need to get off this. I'm just trying to like get through these questions. I'm almost done. Did I come late? Yes, you're very late. Have to use the Android Studio and IntelliJ. Yes, Android Studio is pretty awesome. Like it's a really, 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 really awesome IDE. But it's also very heavy. Like it's very demanding on your computer. How do we go through Android projects in GitHub, which have a lot of threads, so it's difficult to figure out workflow? I'm not sure. Can you elaborate on that question a little better? Dinesh, I think that's how you say that name. I think what you're asking is how do you go through GitHub projects and read them when they're so large and difficult to read? I think that's your question. So say yes or no if that is your question. Ricardo, yes, I'm going to be starting to use Kotlin probably mid-2019 for some of my videos, possibly all of them. We'll see. I might be like fully committing to Kotlin and only doing Kotlin, or I might just partially be doing it. I'm not really sure yet. Ayush. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Ayush. Thanks for watching the stream. What is the best way to start coding? I've always been interested, and that is what made me try coding on the Raspberry Pi. I never got it to work, though. It was a fun experience, though. Yeah. Arduinos are really cool, too. I have an Arduino, and I wanted to do possibly some videos on them at some point, but it's very like niche, and I have so many things that I want to do with Android, so I probably won't end up doing anything with the Arduino, even though I want to. But like if I was rich and I didn't have to like work, what I would probably be doing is like projects with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and just putting those on YouTube. That would be what I would be doing, because those are like, it's just cool. Like I would build like a security system for my home using a Raspberry Pi and like connecting cameras and things like that. I just think that would be super cool. But there's not a big enough audience for it right now, I don't think. But I think that will change soon. So Dinesh, I think Dinesh. So that was your question. So the question is, how do you go through GitHub projects that are difficult to read, like big GitHub projects? So what comes to mind for me is like the Google samples. Like you can go to the Google samples GitHub page, and they have like tons of samples of different apps that you see in the documentation. And how do you read those? So first of all, get the code. So like go to GitHub and get the code and open it in Android Studio. And what I would like to do, see a Neo, what I like to do is I just start like removing things and see what changes. That I think is like, that's what I do anyway. Like I go through it and I decide, okay, I think this does this, or I think this does this. And then I start taking stuff out. I start uncommenting things and seeing what changes happen. And then you just kind of work backwards from there. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. No problem, man. I don't know anything about Apache Cordova. Yeah. Is that like, actually, yeah, I don't know. I didn't study computer science. I studied physics and engineering. So I have a Bachelor of Science in physics, and I have a diploma in mechatronics engineering. So I kind of just started studying computer science on my own in my last sort of semester of school. And I decided that that was what I wanted to do. I always kind of thought programming was really interesting, but I didn't know anything about it. Like my dad didn't go to university. Almost nobody in my family went to university. They're all small business owners and entrepreneurs. So I didn't know anything about school, about programming. I didn't know any programmers. I always thought it was cool, but I didn't know anything about it until I started doing it. And then I realized I found John Sonmez's YouTube channel and I said, oh, this is how you become a software developer. That looks cool. And then I just kind of started learning computer science. Do you think it's helpful to read the Android document? Okay, so I'm going to answer a few more questions and I'm going to go because I've been on this stream for like, I don't even know how long. An hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to go. I'm just going to finish up these last couple questions here. So if you got anything you want to slip in there really quick, just hurry up and ask it. Do you think it's helpful to read documentation because it's quite a mouthful? Yeah. So when I first started programming, I found it very difficult to read the documentation, but kind of for one thing, they've improved their documentation a lot in like the last 2 years, but it was like way worse before. Now it's pretty good, I would say. And yeah, so I think it just comes with time. Like now the Android documentation is often the first place I go to like learn something. But before, the first place I would go would be like YouTube. You'd have to watch videos, but now I never watch videos and I only pretty much read the documentation. So I think, start with whatever is easiest for you right now, and then you'll probably end up finding yourself going to the documentation more and more as you improve your skills. So don't worry about it if you can't read the documentation. It's too hard, because that was definitely the case when I first started. Just focus on learning and go to wherever you are able to learn the best. Doesn't matter what it is, I think. Why don't you just transfer all your Pluralsight courses to your website? I can't. I think they technically own the course. Like I can't even like publish that course on my website. They would they would probably sue me, because it's like I've signed all these things that says, like, basically I think they own the course in general. I get royalties from the course, but I think essentially they own it. So I can't just do that. I've taken a lot of help from your videos. I'll be publishing my app within the next 2 months. Is there a resource used for testing and A/B testing with Firebase? No, there's not. I want to do a course on A/B testing with Firebase because I think it's really powerful. I just don't. I'm not sure if like there's a big enough audience for it. That's why I haven't done anything yet. But no, I don't have a resource for you. Sorry. I have a big project, takes me 100 hours to work, and my friend who have to do the iOS app, I did the Android, stopped the coding because of his health, and I don't know anything about iOS. Oh, that's a bad situation. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could try and find a freelancer on Upwork or something. Do you plan on a career as a programming educator, or would you consider? No, I don't think I would want a job. Like originally when I started learning to program, that's what I wanted. I wanted a job, but I kind of stumbled into this educating thing because I started making videos as I was learning, and now that I really like doing this. Like, I think that if I was rich and didn't have to work, I would probably still be making YouTube videos, but I would just be doing whatever I wanted. Like, I'd be making cool projects like Arduino stuff or Raspberry Pi stuff, or just like cool projects. Like, I don't know. I would try and like hook up a microcontroller to like, I don't know, some kind of construction equipment and like controlling it with a phone or something. I don't know. I would just be screwing around making videos. That's pretty much what I would do. So even though I would definitely make more money in the short term going to get a job, because now that I've kind of stopped doing Pluralsight, I don't make all my income is coming from my website, so I don't make a lot of money. I like doing this. So if I can make a living doing what I like, I think that's a much better way to live. So probably I'm going to stick with the educator thing. I like doing this stuff. So development, I don't know if it's better for me to learn Flutter or Swift. What do you think? If you're going to do it yourself, I don't know. I don't know iOS development, so I don't know how hard it is compared to Android or anything. But yeah, I don't know. I can't give you an answer. I don't know. Why do Android developers want to learn the framework like Flutter? Please tell us something about Flutter, how different is building an app without using a framework. So I don't know a lot about Flutter. All I've basically done with Flutter is gone to the website, downloaded the test app, looked at it, played around with it a little bit. That's basically it. So I can't really give you an educated answer on Flutter, but basically what it is it's a way to develop both iOS and Android apps from using the same language. And from what I gather, it's like easier to do certain things. I don't really know. Yeah. I still think native Android development will yield a superior product, but in general, Flutter is probably good for like most things. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it really to give you a good answer. Wanted to integrate a school API to backend system. My lecturer suggests I use SQL because it understands the data structure better. I already learned Firebase. Any advice? So Firebase is awesome, first of all, especially Firestore. Firestore is a much better product than the Firebase database. Much, much, much better. Your instructor probably suggested SQL because he doesn't know about Firebase because it's a new thing. It doesn't only come out in the last couple of, maybe not last couple of years, but it was bought by Google fairly recently, and it's only become kind of mainstream sort of recently. So he probably just doesn't know about it. But it depends on what you do. Like SQL is going to be easier to do advanced if you got to do any kind of advanced queries, because in Firestore or Firebase database, there's nothing that you can do an SQL-like query, if you know what that is. So yeah, I don't know. Depends on what you're doing. Tell me more about your app, maybe. Great work all around. Thank you. Would it be possible for you to publish videos on integrating Uber and Lyft APIs with Android SDK? Would it be possible for, you're asking me personally if it's possible for me to do that? Can you just confirm that? Hello, good morning. Hello, it's actually night. It's 8:47 p.m. right now. I would also suggest including Dagger 2 in your future tutorials. We've been using it, and it can be quite hard to understand for developers with no experience. Yeah, I would. So I don't know a lot about Dagger. I haven't really looked at it much. But Coding in Flow, if you go to his YouTube channel, let me just bring it up here. You probably know about his YouTube channel, but so Coding in Flow. His name is Florian, and he is doing Dagger stuff. So go to his YouTube channel. He's been publishing Dagger stuff recently. I think he makes really great stuff, so I would suggest checking that out if you want to learn about Dagger. I'm probably not going to do anything about Dagger because Florian is doing it, and I think Florian does a good job in general, so there's no point in us stacking content. So I would check out his videos. Can you give any different idea for making social networking app? No, don't really know. Can we ever get a tour of your house? Yeah, one of your dogs gonna come on live stream. I'll put them on right now. I'll get one of them. See if I can get them up here. Come on. Come here. Come on. So I have two. The one that's gonna come on stream right now is the newest one. She's a puppy still. Here, come here. Come here. Good girl. Up here. Oh. This is Macy. Look at the camera, Macy. Look at the camera. Hello. She's I think she's about like 8 months or so old. She was a rescue. We actually got her from Texas. Me and my fiance drove down to Seattle where we met the person who runs the rescue, and we got her there. So this is her. She's a cutie. There you go. As for the tour of my house, yeah, maybe I'll probably do that. I could do that on Instagram sometime. Just remind me. What's the next one? Please, I'm a beginner. Please make a tutorial on how to show list SQLite database grouping by start date as a header. That's a lot of things. Well, I'm making a new SQLite course, so maybe my next course will be helpful to you. Take a capture while scanning barcode. I think the Firebase Machine Learning Toolkit has something that you can use to scan barcodes, so I would take a look at that. Regarding Uber and Lyft APIs, I was personally struggling to integrate APIs on my own, so if you try to succeed, that would be cool. Yeah, maybe I'll do that in the future. I'm not really sure, the Uber and Lyft APIs. But I've already talked about what I'm going to be doing in the near future. No plans for that anytime soon anyway. Room Persistence Library. Yes, the Room Persistence Library. That's going to be my next course. I'm working on it right now. So that's going to be, it'll be published by the end of the month probably. How many hours do I work out in a day? Under an hour. It'll be somewhere from usually around 45 minutes is what I work out for. And I typically will go, I usually go 5-6 days a week, but never over an hour, for sure, never over an hour. Okay. Not messy, Macy. All right, so I'm going to end this stream because I've been on here far too long. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And yeah, I'll see you when I look at you. Now, how do I end this?